They are the last surviving wonder of the ancient world, monuments of such impossible scale and precision that they challenge our understanding of the past. For millennia, they have stood silent, guarding their secrets, prompting a question that echoes through history. Who or what truly built them? The orthodox view tells a story of human ingenuity and colossal effort. But another, more provocative theory looks beyond our world. It is the theory of ancient astronauts, a belief that extraterrestrial beings visited Earth in antiquity, leaving their mark in stone. Proponents of this theory point to the sheer scale of the pyramids. Millions of stone blocks, some weighing as much as 80 tons. Could ancient humans, with their copper tools and ropes, truly have accomplished such a feat? The theory suggests these structures were not mere tombs, but something far more complex: energy plants or navigational beacons. Believers point to supposed mathematical constants encoded in its dimensions, suggesting knowledge far beyond the Egyptians' grasp. The most famous claim is the Orion Correlation Theory, that the three Giza pyramids are a terrestrial map of the three stars in Orion's belt. This alignment, they say, points to a specific time, 10,500 BCE, a supposed lost golden age. Ancient carvings are reinterpreted, with some claiming to see depictions of advanced technology. Even the sarcophagus in the king's chamber is seen not as a coffin, but as a resonator or power source. It is a compelling, dramatic, and extraordinary story of visitors from the heavens. But is it true? To find out, we must leave the realm of speculation and dig into the sands of history. The story told by archaeologists is less spectacular, perhaps, but in its own way, it is even more incredible. Because the Great Pyramids did not spring into existence fully formed. They were the culmination of centuries of trial and error. Our story begins around 2650 BCE with an architectural genius named Imhotep and his vision for his king, Djoser. He stacked one mastaba on top of another, smaller and smaller, creating the world's first monumental stone building, the Step Pyramid. But the path to the true pyramid was not straight. The next great builder, Pharaoh Sneferu, would learn this the hard way. His first attempt at a smooth-sided pyramid at Meidum collapsed. His second, at Dashur, began to show signs of structural stress. Panicked, his builders changed the angle of inclination halfway up, from 54 degrees to a safer 43, giving it its famous bent appearance. But Sneferu was not deterred. He began again. And finally, with the Red Pyramid, he succeeded, creating the first true smooth-sided pyramid. These earlier pyramids prove a clear lineage of development, not a sudden gift of knowledge, but a hard-won human journey of innovation. It was Sneferu's son, Khufu, who would take this legacy and use it to create the most ambitious project of all. So, how did they do it? The answer begins not with mysterious technology, but with meticulous planning. The builders possessed a profound understanding of mathematics. The base of the Great Pyramid is a near-perfect square, aligned almost flawlessly to the cardinal points. They achieved this alignment by observing the stars, tracking the risings and settings of celestial bodies to find true north. And we have their records. The discovery of the Diary of Merer, a 4,500-year-old papyrus, provided an unprecedented eyewitness account. Merer, an official, details the transportation of white limestone blocks from the quarries at Tura to Giza. He describes a system of canals dug to bring the boats right to the base of the pyramid, a harbor at the heart of the construction site.
This was a state project on an unimaginable scale, requiring a massive, organized, and well-cared-for workforce.
Forget the myth of slaves toiling under the whip. Archaeological evidence paints a very different picture. We found their bakeries, capable of producing thousands of loaves of bread each day to feed the crews. We've found evidence of vast food storage, providing the daily rations of fish, meat, and vegetables for the entire community. Their skeletons show they were Egyptians, with healed bone fractures indicating they received sophisticated medical care. These were not slaves, but skilled laborers from all over Egypt who took immense pride in their work. We've even found their graffiti, informal team names painted on the blocks, like the Friends of Khufu Gang. But what about the stone itself? The process began in the quarries, with a combination of brute force and brilliant technique. For the softer limestone that made up the pyramid's core, workers would carve deep trenches into the bedrock using copper chisels. Then they hammered in wooden wedges, soaked them with water, and the expansion of the wood would crack the block free. But what about the much harder granite, sourced from Aswan, 500 miles to the south? Here, copper chisels were useless. Instead, they used an even simpler tool, hard dolerite rocks. Thousands of workers, pounding relentlessly for weeks, could eventually free even the most colossal blocks. To cut and shape it, they used copper saws, but with a crucial additive, sand. The soft copper acted as a carrier for the hard-cored sand, which did the actual cutting, a slow but highly effective process. Once the blocks were freed, the next great challenge was transportation. Teams of hundreds of men would pull these sledges over the sand. But the Egyptians had a brilliant trick. Experiments show that wetting the sand in front of the sledge reduces friction dramatically. From Aswan, the granite blocks were loaded onto enormous barges, specially built to carry their immense weight. This was only possible during the annual inundation, when the Nile flooded its banks, turning the land into a massive waterway. Quarrying, hauling, shipping, all a prelude to the greatest challenge, lifting the blocks into place. While no definitive proof survives, the leading theory is that the Egyptians built enormous construction ramps of earth and rubble. It could have been a single long linear ramp, growing longer as the pyramid grew, or a ramp that wrapped around the structure. A more recent theory suggests an internal ramp, a spiraling tunnel within the pyramid's body, which modern scans may have hinted at. Whatever the method, these ramps allowed a continuous flow of materials to the ever-rising top. On these high, narrow ledges, there was no room for giant cranes, but plenty of room for another simple but powerful tool, the lever. Slowly, painstakingly, over the course of an estimated 20 years, the pyramid rose from the plateau. But the main structure was not the final step. The pyramid was designed to be a smooth, gleaming white jewel. Fine white limestone from Tura was brought for the outer casing, cut and fitted with a precision that is still breathtaking today. Imagine the sight. A 480-foot-tall structure shining so brightly in the sun, it would have been visible for miles. And to top it all, the pyramidion, or capstone, a miniature pyramid in its own right. Ancient texts suggest it may have been covered in electrum, a natural alloy of gold and silver, blazing in the sunlight.
We did it!
The construction was complete. A monument of human organization, perseverance, and skill. But the pyramid was not just an outer shell. Inside, a series of passages and chambers form an engineering marvel of their own. A narrow ascending passage, built with incredible precision, leads upwards into the core of the pyramid.
This passage opens dramatically into one of the most stunning spaces of the ancient world, the Grand Gallery.
Nearly 153 feet long and 29 feet high, its purpose is debated, but its construction is a masterpiece of corbelled masonry. At the top of the gallery lies the entrance to the King's Chamber, the very heart of the pyramid.
This entire chamber is built from massive blocks of red granite, transported all the way from Aswan.
Above this room lies the pyramid's greatest engineering secret: 5 relieving chambers. These chambers were never meant to be seen. They were designed to divert the crushing weight of the pyramid away from the flat roof of the King's Chamber. It is a brilliant, hidden solution to an enormous engineering problem.
So, we have a clear, evidence-based narrative for how the pyramids were built. But what about the specific claims of the cosmic theorists?
Let's revisit the Orion Correlation Theory. Is it truly a perfect map of the stars? Astronomers point out the correlation is loose at best. To achieve it, you have to ignore other pyramids and flip the map of the sky upside down. The 10,500 BCE date is also contradicted by every piece of archaeological evidence, which firmly dates the pyramids to the Old Kingdom, around 2550 BCE. What about modern science? Carbon dating of organic material, like mortar and wood fragments found within the pyramid, consistently points to this same period. The human mind is built to see patterns. We see faces in clouds and animals in the stars. It's a phenomenon called pareidolia. Is it more likely that aliens built a slightly flawed star map, or that we're simply imposing a pattern that isn't truly there? Now, what of the strange hieroglyphs, the Abydos helicopter? Egyptologists have a simple explanation. It's a palimpsest, a surface that has been written on, erased, and written over. Over time, the plaster has eroded, causing the two sets of inscriptions to merge in a confusing and coincidental way. The same is true for other strange carvings. They are nearly always misinterpretations of complex symbolic scenes, or the result of natural decay. The advanced knowledge of mathematical constants like pi is also a product of selection and approximation. Using a rolling drum to measure distance, a common practice, naturally results in approximations of pi. It's an emergent property, not a deliberate message. If you look hard enough at any large structure with many measurements, you can find almost any ratio you want. The final mystery, the precision. Could humans really fit stones so perfectly? The answer is yes. It requires not advanced technology, but immense time, skill, and patience. They would fit the blocks, mark the high points with red ochre, remove the block, smooth the high points down, and repeat over and over. This level of craftsmanship is not a sign of alien tech, but a hallmark of a society that valued permanence and leaving a lasting legacy. The ancient astronaut theory, for all its excitement, ultimately underestimates the people it claims to celebrate. It takes a human marvel of ingenuity and substitutes it with a fantasy. The truth, grounded in decades of painstaking archaeological work, is far more impressive than any tale of cosmic visitors. So, if the evidence for human construction is so overwhelming, why does the alternative theory persist? Perhaps it's because the sheer scale of the achievement is genuinely difficult for the modern mind to comprehend. We have become so reliant on our complex machines that we have lost faith in the power of simple tools combined with immense human will. There is also a more troubling undercurrent to the theory. an implicit bias that ancient, non-European peoples could not have achieved such greatness on their own. Denying the Egyptians their achievement isn't just bad history, it is a theft of their incredible legacy. After their completion, the pyramids stood, gleaming white, for over 3,000 years. But their story was not over. In the Middle Ages, a massive earthquake loosened the casing stones.
Afterward, many of the stones were systematically removed and repurposed to build the mosques and fortresses of a new, rising city, Cairo.
The pyramids gave their skin to help build a new chapter in Egypt's history, a legacy recycled.
Stripped of their bright shells, the pyramids took on the familiar, weathered appearance we know today.
Yet even in this state, their power to inspire wonder has never diminished.
Today, science continues to probe their secrets, not with speculation, but with technology the builders could never have imagined.
By tracking cosmic particles called muons passing through the stone, scientists can search for hidden voids and chambers without drilling a single hole. This technology led to the 2017 discovery of the Scan Pyramid's Big Void, a large, previously unknown space high above the Grand Gallery.
Its purpose is still unknown. It might be another feat of engineering to relieve pressure, or something else entirely. The pyramids still have secrets to reveal, but the method of unlocking them has changed.
The story of the pyramids is not one of aliens or lost super civilizations. It is a story of a nation's collective effort, a story of social organization, of project management on a scale that is hard to fathom even today. It is a story of human beings using their minds, their hands, and their unwavering belief to achieve the seemingly impossible.
They were not guided by aliens, they were guided by their own ingenuity.
They were not powered by mysterious energy sources. They were powered by bread and by a shared national purpose.
And they did not leave behind a riddle from the stars. They left a monument to what humanity can achieve.
Consider the King's Chamber sarcophagus. It is carved from a single, solid block of granite. More incredibly, it is slightly larger than the passages leading to the chamber. This means it wasn't carried in, but was placed first, and the pyramid was built around it. This required foresight and planning of the highest order. A single mistake in its placement would be irreversible.
The choice of the Giza Plateau itself was another stroke of genius.
It is a solid limestone shelf, a bedrock foundation strong enough to support the immense weight of the pyramids without sinking or shifting. To ensure a perfectly level base, they may have used a simple but brilliant method, creating a moat of water around the foundation and marking the waterline. Every detail speaks to a deep, practical understanding of their environment and materials, born from centuries of observation.
But these were not just mindless workers. They were people with families, beliefs, and downtime.
Archaeologists have found game boards for Senet, a popular ancient board game carved right into the stone at the quarries. These small details remind us that this monumental task was accomplished by ordinary people, living full lives.
The pyramid itself was, for them, more than just a building. It was a national project, a way of securing order and stability for their entire civilization.
Their king was seen as the guarantor of this order, and his tomb was a machine for ensuring its continuation.
The purpose was not just to bury a king, but to build a powerful symbol of the eternal Egyptian state.
Every block put in place was a vote of confidence in their way of life. Let us review. A stable foundation, chosen with geological wisdom.
Millions of blocks, quarried with simple tools and immense organized manpower.
transported using clever techniques, powered by muscle and lubricated by water.
Lifted into place by ramps, the product of staggering labor, and positioned with simple levers.
Accomplished by a well-fed, well-cared-for, and proud national workforce.
And documented in their own words, in scrolls that survived for 4,500 years.
Against this mountain of evidence, the theory of extraterrestrial intervention seems weightless. No aliens were needed. We are looking at the work of human hands.
And the work of human minds.
The mystery is not if humans built the pyramids, but how they managed to organize and inspire so many for so long.
That is the real miracle of Giza.
No aliens were needed. We are looking at the work of human hands.
And the work of human minds.
The mystery is not if humans built the pyramids, but how they managed to organize and inspire so many for so long.
That is the real miracle of Giza.
So when we look at these mountains of stone, what should we see?
Not a message from aliens, not a map of the stars, not a mystery that diminishes the people who built it. So when we look at these mountains of stone, what should we see? Not a message from aliens, not a map of the stars, not a mystery that diminishes the people who built it.
We should see one of the greatest and most enduring achievements of human civilization. A testament written in stone to the incredible power of shared vision, collective effort, and human will.
The greatest wonder of the pyramids is not that they might have been built by aliens, but that they were, in fact, built by us.